never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Oh, will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another Miami Heat UK live streaming show here tonight to preview the game against the Boston Celtics. Let's introduce my cast today. We have John Jablonka. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's not every day you're the first team, the best team in the league.
Well, this is it, mate, and get used to it. We're going nowhere. Looking very sharp as well, mate. You had a nice little trim there.
Yeah, well, thanks for noticing.
There you go. There you go. Ollie Rahimi, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you. How are you? Good week, good birthday weekend.
Yes, very good, thank you. Yes, apart from the rows with Vodafone that made me miss a couple of shows, so apologies for that. But on the whole, yes, a very good birthday weekend, thank you. And as you quite rightly said in the chat before, it's a bit lonely at the top up here, isn't it? A bit lonely at the top. We'll get right into it, mate. We'll get right into it. Glenn Smith, how are you?
I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. Glad to see you've not got a 4 or 5 day hangover.
Yeah, well, I could very well have done, but it would have been easy to have done. But we'll keep it professional over here, guys. Another big win. Let's come on to tonight's. Let's come on to reflect on the Mavericks game first before we get onto the Boston game. Another big win. Another double digits win. Against a good team, a Dallas Mavericks team, away from home again. This means over the last 2 games, despite losing that, keeping every team under 100 in regulation, that hasn't happened over the last 2 games. But against Ja Morant, against Luka Doncic, that's sort of to be expected. And even despite that, Ollie, we got the job done. Double digits again. It's looking good, isn't it, man?
Yeah, it almost seems too good to be true. So I'm hoping it lasts. Yeah, I think everything's just rolling at the minute. Literally everything seems to be going well. People are making shots. I think Duncan's found a bit more of a rhythm that he didn't have at the start of the season. Obviously, Kyle Lowry in that game the other night was just electric. Like that's what he if he shoots the ball like that, that just takes the offense to another level, I think. So yeah, we're firing on all cylinders, and long may it continue. Yeah,
definitely. And that's we'll get on to Kyle because we've seen Cole's impact. We've seen how much, ignore the box scores. We can see the impact he's had on this team in so many ways. But last time out, Glenn, it rolled as well with the ball, didn't it? I mean, that shooting performance was just incredible. I think, if I remember rightly, John will probably correct me, 7 out of 10 seems like something like that from 3. Just an elite 3-point shooting performance as well as everything else. If that continues, wow, we've already got 3 players that are averaging over 20. I mean, can we add Kyle Lowry into this as well? There's no stopping this team.
Cole, we once had the big 3, didn't we? And now we're quite possibly looking at a big 4. It's a bit nuts, to be quite honest with you, and definitely one of the best bench players we've had in a while in Hero. As you say, yeah, nice to see Kyle firing, but I think, as a lot of people have already said, it's nice to be at the top, but we're all forgetting we've still got Oladipo to come. The point guard position only gets stronger from here, and that's crazy to think of considering where we already are.
It's very true, and it's something I mentioned on the pod last night with Marco Rama from 5 Reasons. John, is my only sort of concern. I loved what we did in the off season. I don't think anybody could look at it and say it was anything other than an A+ off season from the front office. My only concern was, and I wasn't alone in this, was that scoring depth, that bench depth. And I've been completely proved wrong because we've got Tyler Herro, who's averaging 20-something, top scoring off the bench across the league at the moment. But also guys like Dedmon's coming in, doing a good job in fantastic, backup minutes for Bam. And Markieff Morris is finding that mid-range as well. The scoring depth at the moment is not proving a problem at all, is it?
Yeah, I was the same with you. I thought we needed more bench depth, especially with our wings. Seeing as KZ and all them, they're not going to be playing, and I didn't think Morris and PJ Tucker and Dedmon would bring that scoring off the bench. Then obviously Hero's doing his part. And I think Spo done well with his rotations as well. To always have either Hero, Lowry, Bam, and Jimmy, one of those two on the court as well. So that also helps that with the depth, because it's never just Hero and then Morris and then just random. It's always just Lowry, Hero plus bench players, Lowry, Butler, then bench players.
Yeah, as I said with the scoring depth, there was somebody, I think it might have even been Ethan, actually, Ethan Skolnick, who said he didn't even see a player on the Heat averaging 20 points this season. He said maybe if anybody, it might be Tyler Hero. Looking at it now, Tyler obviously, is he's come absolutely out the blocks firing here, Ollie, but even if he regresses slightly, if he can average around that 20, you're going to have Butler, who's definitely going to be over 20, and then probably maybe even Bam as well. So from going from arguably no one, there's a legit shout we could have 3 players averaging 20 plus, and I can't remember the last time the Heat had that.
Yeah, definitely. I think 3 is more than likely, really. Like you said, Tyler off the bench. He started the season so well, and I think he will just grow, and he's got that confidence now that maybe he lacked last year. But yeah, I can see him definitely averaging over 20. I think Jimmy, that's a given. NBA.com was ranking him, or somebody was ranking him as number 1 in the MVP ranks so far early on. But so yeah, I think that's going to continue. And Bam last year was at 19, I think, a game. So with the addition of Kyle, and like we've spoken before about how good Kyle can be for big men, I think Bam will definitely get above 20 as well. So yeah, we could be looking at 3. I can't see it being sustained from Kyle over the course of the year, because that's not his primary role. But yeah, I think those 3 definitely can.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Something I just didn't foresee. Sorry, John, did you want to cut in there?
I think we also underestimated how much of an impact Lowry has on the fast break points, because we get like 5-6 more fast break points since last year, and then that's why Bam's also averaging 20 and Jimmy, because they just get easy points.
Yeah. It's a bit of a touchy subject talking about fast break points and Cole Lowry. You better hope there's no Raptors fans tuned in, because they seem to just want to shout at you that he's always done this, so it's a bit strange with Raptors. And there's no need for Heat Twitter and Raptors Twitter to be beefing, because we're both great organisations, very similarly moulded. We haven't got to have this beef. So Raptors fans, we know you love Kyle. We love him too. Just enjoy him on our team now instead. So we'll leave it at that. You led me quite nicely there, Ollie, on to MVP races and so on. Jimmy Butler, again, I mentioned this on the pod last night. Jimmy Butler just two games ago was at 60-1 in the MVP race. He's now at 28-1 just 2 games later. That's incredible. That's more than halved in the space of 2 games. We've had Tyler Hero, who came in from, I think he started at about 18-1. He's now almost even money, I think, something like that, for 6th man of the year. And it brings us on quite nicely to your poll of the week, Glenn. So let's get into that right now. Okay, Glenn, what was the poll question, and have you got the results for us?
Yeah, I do. So we went with today, what do you think's most likely to happen? As you suggested, we rightfully left Tyler Hero out of the 6th man spot on that, just to make it a bit more interesting, which I think was a great shout. So we went for what's more likely: Bam Defensive Player of the Year, Butler MVP, Tyler Hero Most Improved Player, or Spo Coach of the Year. And we've gone with it's close at the top, I must say. You've got 39% for Bam Defensive Player of the Year, followed closely by 35% for Hero Most Improved. Then Butler MVP 14%, and 12% sleeping on Spo, I think, with the Coach of the Year.
Well, let me say, I know there's a long way to go. Obviously, this is a very small sample size, but the way the Heat is rolling, if we stay at full health, there is every chance that we could see 2, 3, maybe even 4 of these come in. And we haven't spoke about Tyler Hero, because that's almost, he hasn't even got to stay on his trajectory. That's almost seemed like it's a guarantee. They're going to be paying out that anytime now. John, on your seeing those figures there, the winning vote there was Bam Defensive Player of the Year. That surprised me a little bit, but what are your thoughts? Do you think if you had to plump for one of those, Tyler Most Improved, Bam Defensive, Jimmy MVP, or Spo Coach of the Year, what one would you be putting your money on?
I'll definitely pick Bam.
Okay.
He's already making a good case, and it's also just how the media works. Rudy's already won a lot, and he won last year, I think, as well. So that's the voice fatigue. I don't see Jimmy getting it. He won't be putting up those kind of stats, those Steph stats, even if he's going to be on a second seed. With Hero and his most improved, I think there's more competition. OG, and other players, I can't remember. And Spoker should get his Coach of the Year if we top 3, especially with the league's best defense.
Well, yeah, that's the one I was a little bit surprised at, because Spo was quite low in that vote. I think about 11 or 12%, as you said there, Glenn. And I think if the Heat win 55 games, maybe, which is going to see enough for maybe a top 2 seed, I think that's probably enough to see him take that, especially if we then, it's based on a regular season, so we don't go into the playoffs. So I think that's. I was surprised by that result. Ollie, anything to add on that before we come on to the Boston preview?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Dan. I think that was the most surprising for me because before the season started, the GM survey, pretty much everyone rated Spo pretty highly. So I think Coach of the Year for Spo, like you said, if the Heat do end up with a pretty good record, I think obviously Bam is probably the most likely, so that would be my answer. But I think Coach of the Year for Spo is probably not that far behind.
No, and again, he's coming a lot in the odds already at this point. I think he started the season about 11 or 12 to 1. He's now down to 5 to 1. So again, that's more than halved, which is quite incredible. Just shows how the Heat are rolling. So let's come on to tonight's game then, guys, against the Boston Celtics, who are 3-5 as we stand at the moment. Heat obviously leading the East on 6-1. A back-to-back, which will help us again, although we said this against Indiana, so let's not get too carried away. A win last night to sort of end a 3-game skid for Boston with a win against Orlando last night. John, they're not really the Boston that we sort of know. I mean, and I don't really know why, because I had them that when I looked at their business for the off-season, I thought they'd actually improved. I was quite high on them. I think a lot of people weren't. I think a lot of people were sort of down on them a little bit, but I thought they'd done some good business over the summer, and I think that I had them around 4th or 5th seed, and they could very well still get this because we're early days. But the defensive rating down, I think 21st in the league defensively. Sorry, no, I got that mixed up. 19th in the league, 21st offensively. So it's not really happening for them, is it? What do you put this down to at the moment? Because all doesn't seem well in Boston.
Right now, I just put it on Tatum struggling. They just need him or Jaylen Brown, and most of the nights they need both of them to go off. And Tatum's really struggling. I think he's shooting 28% from 3.
Wow.
I don't know why just all the superstars are just struggling offensively like that, but that's just the main reason. I was also high on them, just thinking last year with the COVID stuff, especially Tatum, that he would be better this year. And through 7 games, it's just been cold.
What do you think? I know it's difficult because we don't follow all the other teams as well as obviously we do follow this team. But Ollie, they brought in Horford, who's been impactful. They brought him back. Josh Richardson's gone there. Do you think that this team improved?
Yeah, but I think teams around them improved more. So I think we did. Chicago definitely. So yeah, I mean, in my sort of preseason rankings, I kind of had them as lower half of the playoffs. I am still surprised at how poorly they started the season, and like John said, I think when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown really kick on, then they will shoot themselves up in the rankings a bit. But yeah, they've improved on last year, but I just don't think they're at their level yet.
Yeah, okay, well that is fair. The East has improved massively. Even some of what we would maybe call the also runs last year with your Washingtons and things like that. Everyone's got better. It's a tough league. So we'll see. I'm sure they will work it out because they've got that mentality. They are quite a dogged team, a bit like us. You see some similarities there, and there is a lot of talent on that roster as well. They had this players only meeting after this skid they've had recently, which has helped maybe with that bounce back win. And we had Marcus Smart calling out maybe Tatum and Brown about not passing the ball enough. So yeah, maybe that's what needed to happen, just something to get the unity back there. What do you think, Ollie? Glenn, in terms of tonight's key matchups, because we've got Lowry maybe on Brown, we've got the big one, which I suppose would be Tatum on Bam. But what do you think is the keys here for tonight's win if we're going to get it?
Well, I think, as we've been saying, Tatum has just not been himself, especially shooting. Last time out, the Celtics, despite winning the game, shot 27% from the free. But I'm interested to see that matchup again between Bam and Tatum. Something about Tatum just seems to come alive when he plays Bam. It must be owed to that block back in the bubble days that just brings him back out, and he just gets a little bit angry. So we do need to be worried about that. In a more general view, the Celtics have out-assisted every single team they've played this year, bar one, who they drew against, including against the Bulls. So despite them not operating that way, they're still a very key passing team. And so singular matchups are going to be important, but I think tonight our rotation defense is going to have to be key to disrupt their passing, which is clearly there. They're clearly making the buckets off of that and playing together, despite the selfishness, as you mentioned, on Marcus Smart pulling out and stuff like that. But for me, it's still got to be Tatum versus Bam, the 1-to-1 matchup to watch.
Absolutely. Interesting stat there. Yeah, that's interesting. Another one, that, John, that's maybe a bit more obvious and something that maybe would be a key area to dominate tonight is the Heat have out-rebounded every team so far this season. You would expect that to probably continue tonight, wouldn't you?
Probably, yeah. If carry on the streak, I think I saw one of the tweets that this is the longest streak of out-rebounding teams in franchise history. So I would say this is another PJ Tucker and Dwayne Dedmon game, just crashing the boards, and hopefully just beat them with second chance points.
Yep, good stuff. So we'll come on to predictions in a minute. Before I do, I just did a show called The View from the Other Lot with the Boston Brit, and I asked him a question, which I always think is quite fun, especially with two teams that are maybe, well, especially with Boston, that are quite top heavy. I ask, what would you have as your Miami and Boston combined starting five? Ollie, no time to think about this. I know that, and
Okay.
you're all sitting there now scratching your head. But what would you get? He and Nathan, the Boston Brit, it killed him to put 3 Miami players in. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going to say 3, and I don't know what he said, but I'm going to guess probably the same. So I'll go Lowry, Brown, Butler, Tatum, Bam.
You got it. That's exactly what he did. Would there be any variation on that, Glenn?
I don't think so. Especially as you've got like Hero playing his role off of the bench. So he's that in terms of starting 5, yeah. And Celtics fans, that will pain them, because this, again, like we said about the Indiana game, this is always a matchup for the Celtics versus the Heat. This is one that they look at, and so to be able to have to put more players in that starting lineup than theirs, that will be painful for him, which is good. We like to see it.
It definitely was painful for him. I can almost see the tears. He had Jimmy Butler playing at the 4 there. That was the only thing with that, John, that was a little bit odd, but just a little bit small. But that team would be championship caliber without doubt, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I had the same starting lineup as well. I just think of the defense. Tatum's whole defensive caliber, Bam, then Butler, then just you have all switchable guys. There's no defensive weakness in the lineup.
Yeah, that team's winning. That team's winning rings, multiple rings. So that's good. Right, last question, guys, before we come to tonight's predictions. We debut tonight the Miami mashup jerseys, including a fire new court. I've already seen Will Manso posting some pictures of the court and videos of what it looks like, which looks incredible. I'm a big fan of this. I was from the minute I saw it. I know it got a little bit of hate, as a lot of jersey leaks do when you see these grainy images, but as soon as you see the promos, I think it's a really good concept. Ollie, what are your thoughts? Do you like this?
Yeah, I love it. I love the individuality of it, and the fact that the players can choose their own number styles and stuff like that, and it represents, them and what the Heat history and the Heat culture means to them. Yeah, I love it, and the yellow rope as well, just adds the icing on the top of the cake.
Yeah, that is awesome. But Glenn, I was just about to comment to that. That's such a great little touch, isn't it? The yellow ropes.
Fantastic. And yeah, I agree with you both there. I'm a big fan of this. Interesting to see that we're the only team in the league that designs our own extra jerseys, if you will. Obviously, they change the name every year. And when you look around at some of the, in my opinion, rubbish jerseys that have come out, the Boston Celtics and OKC, for me, are just both. They're just letting their guys down. So I'm happy that we've taken that in heart. The gold rope thing, the yellow rope thing is iconic to me as well. I'm chuffed that they've put that on the court.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Yeah, you're right about the Boston Celtics, because it's everything. It's just like, they must just be so deflated, especially when you see stuff like this. And then you look at Boston, just it's another green jersey. Oh, yeah,
Honestly,
great.
someone's designing that on Word.
John, obviously always tough to back up such an iconic collection, such as the one behind me. But I've done a good job, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
I wasn't a fan of first. I just didn't like the design of just all the random jerseys, but seeing it on Butler, Bam, and on the other players, yeah, I'm just starting to feel it a bit more.
You're warming. You're warming.
Yeah,
to
I still prefer all of those jerseys behind you. The
Of
Vice
course.
era was the best ones in the NBA, in my opinion, especially the black ones.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's going to be tough to live up to that. But I like him. I think it's a good idea. It's a neat concept. So I'll be looking forward to copying my first Bam Adebayo one, which is what that's going to be. Right, guys, let's get on to some predictions tonight then. The Heat are standing alone, number 1, 6-1 in the East. A tough game against Boston tonight, no doubt. We've won every single game by double-digit figures so far this season. Ollie, is that going to continue? What are we looking at tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Heat by 11 or 12, and I reckon Jimmy triple-double.
Oh, love that start. Love that energy. Glenn, what about you?
I'll go 12 to 15 again. And funny you say triple double. I was going to have Jimmy down for 5+ steals. I think he's going to pick those passing lanes nicely tonight.
Well, I mean, it's not a million miles off, to be honest, because he's averaging 3, which is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. John Jablonka, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with 15, and I'm just saw a stat that Boston allows the most free throw rates, so that's another Jimmy kind of thing. So I'm saying he goes for 30.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to bring up, actually, the free throws, because both him and Bam have been eating at the line, which is great stuff. I was going to be really conservative here. I was going to sort of go, yeah, the Heat, I fancy a win, but, tough game, just come back off a win with against the Magic there last night, even though it's a back-to-back. So I was thinking maybe 4 or 5, but you're all going 12s and 15s. So, I'll follow you. I'll say Heat by 12. Jimmy Butler, again, is going to be top scoring tonight. Let's hope that continues. Guys, we're in this incredibly sort of weird utopia at the moment where we get this extra hour. So it's an 11:30 start. We was just talking about it before we come on. 11:30 start tonight. That's only going to be for the next couple of games, but we will take advantage of that. So please follow us at the Miami Heat UK for the usual in-game commentary. Fred will be there. Hopefully, seeing the Heat extend, not just anything else, extend their lead at the top of the East. Let's go and get it, guys. Thanks for joining. See you soon.